My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, and I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And today, we are here to talk about a group of women that have topped the charts 51 times since they debuted. Which is it's an insane amount of times. They have an almost overwhelming discography, just unbelievable. In addition to that, almost every single member has a plethora of solo projects. So today we are here to talk about the group, the myth, the legend, Apink.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Apink, woo! They've been around for a while and they're coming back. So the day that this comes out will be their first comeback in a while. We're very excited that the ladies are back, and we want to tell you all about them just in case they've been under your radar until now, which I imagine for like a lot of newer K-pop fans.
Yeah.
They probably haven't come up yet.
It's true.
And there's probably a lot of K-drama fans who are like, oh, I don't know who they are. Yes, you do.
You don't.
Yes, you do.
If you looked at them, you'd be like, oh. Especially now, there are people who are currently filming things right now.
Right now.
So, Sky, tell us about this group. Where'd they come from? What's going on?
So some K-pop groups kind of have a whole process for how they formed a group. No one wants to tell me that on the internet. So it's pretty much the company decided, hey, we're doing a group. These are the members. So as far as what company, at the time it was called A-Cube Entertainment. It's a subsidiary. A lot of subsidiary companies in the K-pop world. They just are. So the formation of the group began in early 2011. The first member that got announced was Nayeon, because she had appeared in some of the Beast videos. Then after that, the leader was announced, Cho-rong, Ha-young, and then Eunji, and then finally Yu-kyung, which that's the member that later on left. But then they had a pre-debut reality show called Apink News, and that's when they announced Bomi and Namju becoming a part of the group as well. As far as the why they revealed everything this way, who knows? I mean,
just because they felt like it.
As far as I've never understood that, because there's other groups that here's a secret member, and then suddenly we'll introduce them at the end. Like, why? I always feel bad for the kids that get introduced last, but so that's the order of how they got announced. Let's talk about the label name for a moment. They have never changed companies. That has always been the same place. So they trained and debuted under A-Cube, which is an independent label of Cube.
Yes,
so A-Cube.
The Cube. You know of them.
Then the company that later became Kako M, they bought some shares, 70% of the shares, and they're like, hey, your name is now Plan A. And they're like, okay, our name's Plan A now. And then Kako M decided, no, we're going to buy all of your shares. And then later they became Play M as opposed to Play A. As you do.
They're still doing their thing.
To give you an idea of who else is at Play M, now Apink was it under A-Cube once upon a time, but Play M, they have Apink, Victon, Weekly, and Hugak, which he's a soloist. I say all that to say, so there's Play M Entertainment, and then over here is Cracker Entertainment, and all they had was the boys. Then suddenly those two merged to become IST Entertainment. So at this very moment in time, Apink is under IST Entertainment, despite the fact that Apink has never shifted their residence under any of this.
It's just they're staying still and everything around them is changing.
Chaotic tornado
40 times.
So to break it down, they started in A-Cube, and then pretty much Plan A, Play M, and then IST Entertainment. But it's all the same, essentially, kind of. Hopefully just more money,
different money, same building.
So they debuted April 19th, 2011 with the EP 7 Springs of Apink. And that's pretty nice that they got an EP, because sometimes, especially that era, a lot of times it was here's your single to debut with.
Single with an instrumental. There you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, they debuted with an EP. That's pretty cool. There's honestly not a ton of information about the beginnings of Apink, but that is what we have.
So there were originally 7 members, and now there are 6. And here's the breakdown of those members. So Park Chorong is the leader, and she's also credited as the lead dancer. A lot of them debuted before they debuted as Apink in Beast music videos. But she was in the Japanese teaser for Beast's Shock music video, and then they were like all in Beast's beautiful music video. And she's also been in a B2B music video for the song Insane. She was the second member that was announced as part of the group, and she also has the most songwriting credits of anyone in Apink, so that's cool. So originally, she actually auditioned for JYP in 2009, and she successfully actually made it through like the first couple rounds, but then was eventually eliminated and sort of shuffled off to Cube, where she became the leader of Apink. Her birthday is March 3rd, 1991.
Ooh, March baby!
March baby! Next, we've got Yoon Bo Mi. You know her, you love her. She's a delight, smile face, good time. She's the main rapper of the group and is a lead, like they're all kind of lead vocalists, by the way.
Let's interject. There aren't many raps.
There are not many raps. That is her role in the group.
Look, give her that role.
3 rappers.
There's
3 rappers, and there's no rap.
They're on standby. It's like they're
like
waiting.
just in case
They're ready.
In case there's ever a rap, she is there. Okay.
And you know what? Maybe this new album dropped today, and we all have egg on our face because maybe it's
true.
a huge rap-filled album.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
The mixtape for Gomi.
She was one of the last members to be announced, which was announced in the reality show, as Sky said, Apink News. Her birthday's in August 13th, 93. And she is also part of all the Apink subunits, because there are 2 Apink subunits, B and N, with Namju and her, and Apink YOS. So she also does quite a bit of acting, but we will get into that later. Next, we've got Jung Eunji, who I can fairly safely say is the most well-known member of Apink. She's also the face of Apink and is the main vocalist of Apink. And she was known for always smiling super wide while she sang, which is how people recognized her, because she has a very big smile. She's also an August baby, August 18th, 93. And she was a trainee for 2 months before debuting. That's it. She literally showed up and they were like, here's your group.
We don't need to think about it. Just go.
Yeah. And because she only trained for 2 months, she was the only member who never appeared in a Beast music video. So she was not there long enough. She also has the most acting credits of anyone in the group, and she's everywhere. Literally everywhere. You know her. Okay, we'll get into that later. Next, we have the first member to be shown, which was Sun Nayeon, who is apparently the lead dancer and the visual of the group. She is very pretty, so I get it.
Very pretty.
I get it.
As opposed to all the pretty,
all the
girls.
other extremely gorgeous women.
But yeah,
there's a difference between being the face of the group and being the visual of the group.
Yeah,
there is.
There is. So her birthday is February 10th, which is today that we're recording this. Happy birthday. 94. And she was like the main girl in Beast's music videos. She showed up in several of them. Like it wasn't just one. And she was the first announced member, and she was originally a JYP trainee before deciding to leave JYP and moving to Cube to become part of Apink. I imagine she was probably, enticed over with promises of debut, because I feel like there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah.
But she is the only member that has left their agency. But she's still part of Apink, but she's now under YG Actors, because I guess she wanted to focus more on acting, as they've been, not super active in the last little while. And she has quite a few acting credits. Actually, like all of them have acting credits. Like, what am I even talking about? Next, we have Kim Namju. I also need to point out that none of them have stage names. They all just use their names, which I think is, good for them. Who's apparently also the lead vocalist and lead dancer.
Shocker.
They're like, listen, we're all good. We're all number one.
Yeah. Her birthday is April 15th, 95. So she's the second youngest in the group and is the other half of the BNN subunit with Bomi. And she actually debuted in a commercial at the age of 13 before joining Apink. She joined Cube in 2010 through their audition program. So she was there for about a year before debuting. And she was the other member that was introduced through their reality show. Finally, we have Oh Ha-young, who is the other rapper. And she's also the maknae, so she's the youngest, but she's known as the mature maknae because she looks the oldest, but she's
the tallest too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her birthday is July 19th, 96, so she's a full year younger than the next youngest, which means she would have been real young.
A baby child.
Yeah, when they debuted. And in fact, auditioned in the 7th grade for Cube, where she was a trainee until she debuted.
We're making faces about that.
Wow.
We're making very like concerned adults.
She was in Cube in 7th grade. Wow.
Yeah. Would not be any child of mine.
Sorry, kids.
Not that I'm gonna have children, but no. And there was a member who did leave, though not under any shifty circumstances, because oftentimes shifty circumstances are to be expected. But in this case, there was a previous member named Yu Kyung. Her birthday is September 22nd, 94. And she actually trained the longest out of anyone in the group, but left in 2013, so 2 years after they debuted, because she wanted to go to college.
It's admirable.
So,
if you want to do
which
it,
good for her.
Yeah, good for her. And I do believe that they are still in touch with her. And, good feelings all around. It's just being an Apink wasn't for her, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So, and those are
That's right.
Those are the members and how they got into the group.
So their colors, their fandom, their all that stuff is, I don't know, guys. What would you guess their fandom color is?
Yellow.
Green.
Pink. Strawberry pink. It's pink. What a shocker. And you will see pink in every music video. Literally and every like they are very committed to their theme of the color pink.
Yes.
Which does not bother me because I like pink.
I do.
It's my favorite color. So yay. Their fandom name is Panda. It was originally Pink Panda, but has in more recent years just been shortened to Panda. Like no Panda call themselves Pink Panda anymore. They just call themselves Panda.
They've moved beyond the Pink Panda.
Yeah. So I think when I look at some of the stuff online about it, it looks like they kind of dropped the pink part of the panda around the same time as Apink started to do a little bit more mature concepts and a little less of the soft, super soft, innocent stuff. Panda just became Panda, but their light stick is still a pink panda. It's very cute. It's the super cutest light stick. It's the little white and pink.
It is really cute.
Panda face. Marginally creepy when it's lit up, but
it also has a little heart as the nose.
When I'm doing my research, I was on one, I think it was on the Fandom wiki for it, and when I was going around doing stuff, the cursor is the little pink and white panda face, and I was like, oh, that's cute. I looked up to find out what their introduction thing was or their motto, trying to search the Apink motto. There's a song or an album or something that has motto as part of it. So that's all that comes up and you're like, oh, okay. Or it's each girl's individual motto and all their mottos are work hard and do well. And you're like, okay, I don't know. So I don't know. My Google foo just failed me on that one, but it kind of doesn't surprise me. They don't I don't know, just something about them as a group. They feel more almost individuals.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see it on what was it on like Show Review, I think it was, and they were like, oh, a teamwork challenge. You guys should be good at that because you've been together. And like Unji was like, no, we're not a team. we're just 6 individuals who work together.
We respect
our voices.
We respect each other.
Yeah.
Like we respect our individuality in this group.
Yes. You really see that they are individuals, and I mean, obviously they like each other. They enjoy each other's company.
Apink's music sound and concept is different than a lot of other groups, and we were kind of talking about this before we started recording. They're almost exclusively bubblegum pop with cheerful lyrics and an innocent and pure image. They have been compared to some first gen groups like SES and Finkel, but squarely all of their stuff lives in this kind of really bubblegum pop, really sweet, nice. The lyrics are about love and not like anything that's like sort of like depressing or sad. And they've talked about how they kind of attribute a lot of their success for keeping the signature concept when everyone around them was not doing that. They're kind of drastically changing their styles and concepts, whether it be like just in their dances and that sort of thing. And Ha-young was quoted saying that other groups these days tend to highlight their dancing skills and sexy looks, but our concept was an innocent and pure image. And I think that's why the audience felt comfortable with us. And it was one of the things that I can't remember exactly which one of their comebacks. A lot of people thought they were going to go kind of more like the 21 route and were worried about that. And when they came out, a lot of their fans felt like they can be assured with staying with the group because of them keeping up with this image. But if you do listen to a lot of their songs, they've got this really interesting kind of background of like 90s hip hop beats. So it kind of like changes the bubblegum pop a bit within the like music itself, even when they're kind of staying in this poppy world, and it's not like really represented in the like concepts or lyrics and that sort of thing. In 2018, with their 7th EP 1 and 6, which they had to come back with I'm So Sick, Apink shifted their style of music the most significantly. They had kind of started to like break away a little bit in the 2 previous comebacks, but it wasn't drastic or anything. It was kind of just a little bit every time. But like in 2018 with this EP, it was the most drastic in sound. So they kind of shifted their style of music to more synth and R&B. And you especially saw a change in their like music video style. It's much darker, and the lyrics was about an ex. So it kind of had like shifted from the school uniform type sweet
soft
innocent,
creams
to a little bit more of like, you've been through the world a little bit because you're now like in college,
they shifted from like a blush pink to like a deep rose, like
at this, at this time
still
it's like
in the
7 years
vein,
after they debuted. So a lot of the style of music actually kind of also comes from who they most work with. So they work with 2 notable producers who we all know because we've heard them a lot. And so when I say who they are, you might actually start to pick them up even with their songs being so bubblegum pop. The first did a lot of stuff with the duo Black Eyed Pilsung, who has done songs such as Sisters Touch My Body, Mrs. A's Only You, Twice's Ooh Ah, and a ton of other things. And they also worked with the producer Shinsadong Tiger, who we talked about not super extensively, but we did it for a little bit in our EXID episode because he is the one who created EXID. Once you hear those people and those songs that I mentioned, you kind of see where like some of the 90s R&B and kind of that hip hop is coming in out of like the songs, even for their like older stuff, because they kind of worked with them since debut. They've worked with other people, and we've kind of mentioned briefly, and we'll probably maybe talk about more, but a lot of the members do have composition credits to their name. Trong doing the most. Also, Unji has a slew, especially outside of the group. Almost all the other members have some sort of like writing credit to at least one song. Trong, I think, is the most because she also gets title songs as well. So we talked about the Beast music videos. They actually worked with them on the song Skinny Baby, which was for a school uniform brand, School Looks, SKOOLOOKS. Horrifically titled name for a school uniform brand, but here we are. It was 2011 too, so yes, we can't do anything. And then they had their debut music stage performance with I Don't Know from their debut EP, 7 Springs of Apink. But it wasn't until My from their second EP before they won any music shows. They saw their highest charting single with No No No, which is from their third EP, Secret Garden. And it reached a bunch of stuff and it got them on the Billboard's K-pop Hot 100. At that time, this was their first time really promoting as 6 members. Mr. Chu in 2014 peaked also on Billboard and became one of the best-selling digital songs according to GON. And it's also praised for its choreo, specifically for their stages. Because a lot of the music stages talked about how they did a lot of work where they were like moving their hands up to their face, and it made it easier for the videographers to film them on stage and get really good shots of them. So they got a lot of like tight shots because of the way that they did the choreo, which actually like helped their numbers in a way.
That's nice. Good thinking.
Smart.
Mhm.
Clever choreography.
Yeah, they debuted in Japan August 4th of 2014 with a showcase that included a Japanese version of No 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 and My. And when they finally released those singles on like a mini album in October, they got really big on Oricon's weekly singles and kind of solidified their role in Japan. And they've continued to chart really well, and even up until their change of their music. I'm So Sick also got really big in Billboard's publications and topped on the songs. Their 2020 release of Dum Durum from their 9th EP topped 4 major real-time charts in South Korea and became their first song to reach #1 on Melon in 5 years since Remember. So even at that like late stage, they were still doing some major stuff. We talked about it a lot. They have a lot of music, a lot.
A lot.
You can't even get all of it. They have 7 studio albums, 3 of them being Japanese, 9 EPs, 4 compilations. They've had 24 Korean singles, 9 Japanese singles, and 26 other charted songs.
So, and it's funny when you go into Spotify and you're like, oh, it's only 4 albums. That's not so bad. And some singles. That's cool.
They'll be like, the studio album has 11 songs. And then you go into the EPs and you're like, this has 8 songs. Okay. Like,
that point,
very few of them are actually like small.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. And you can't even get all the Japanese
up to
stuff.
4.
Honestly, I've always thought singles more than one song should not be a single anymore.
Yeah.
Showing my age, coming up from the, vinyl, there was always 2, right? The cassette, there was always 2. A single always
one
had
per
2 songs,
side,
right?
Right.
So I'll accept 2. Sometimes a record would have 2 songs per side on those singles. So,
So
I'm
you're
willing
okay.
to push it to 4. I'll push it to 4 and accept it. But anything more than that,
We stated before, almost all the members have a solo career of various lengths and stuff. They've also within the group kind of worked on individual stuff and OSTs. So even if it wasn't like actual debut solos, they're kind of doing stuff. And then they worked with Beast and they worked with B2B. It's a massive amount of stuff. And
so much.
Knowing all of that and knowing how many albums they have and how they're fairly popular in Japan, they've done a lot of concerts. Their first concert was Pink Paradise in 2015. It was a Korean tour. It sold out within 2 minutes of posting. There were 7,200 tickets that sold out within 2 minutes. And this is not uncommon. Almost all of their concerts sell out within 3 minutes of being posted. Most of them are in the 2-minute range.
People love them.
Yeah. In total, they've had 7 Korean tours, 4 Japanese tours, 7 Asian tours. They've had 1 North American tour that was for Vancouver, Dallas, San Francisco, and LA. And in 2020, they did an online concert. And they've done some other music appearances, like they've been to the Korean Times Music Festival in LA, which is a yearly concert event that has a lot of Korean artists. They've done stuff like MTV's Music Evolution, along acts like One Republic and Far East Movement. And that's essentially their music kind of in a nutshell. I skipped over a lot because there's a lot.
There's just too much.
Yeah, it kind of is like almost overwhelming how much they have in their music section, the discography, especially when you kind of pair it with their solo work. They really stuck to their poppy sound for a really long time. And even with that like transition, it still wasn't as transitioned as you would think and expect. There was a lot of like kind of momentum towards it, and they kind of still live in a very poppy like sound, just a little bit more in like darker concepts and then darker lyrics, but they still had that like Apink sound. I think they really have like a sound that you can just listen to and you're like, that would be an Apink song. And I think that's kind of like a testament to a group knowing where they're most loved and where they work really well and keeping up with it, which is like not something that a lot of other groups do. We've talked about other groups on the podcast where we'll be like, oh, if you don't like the songs that you've heard, they have others because they have a wide variety. You really don't get that in Apink. They really are like, if you like their like main title tracks, you are guaranteed to like their B-sides and their lesser known works. They really pride themselves in doing that, and kind of it's their focus more on their fan base and kind of almost not betraying, air quotes, their fan base in a drastic change.
I appreciate, like, it's a commitment. And I think partially the fact that they have so many side projects lets them explore other sounds, but they know that when they're together, this is our sound. When we go off, we can do our own thing and explore some other stuff, but together, this is Apink and this is what Apink does and this is what our fans like, so that's what we'll do. And like one of the interviews I saw with them, they said that Apink is known for being one of the only Korean groups to have a consistent uprise. Like they've never plateaued. They haven't hit their plateau yet. They're still going up as far as how many fans they have, how many sales they make, how many streams. It's a constant upward slope for them. It's great when a group changes their sound because that's what they want to do and they want to explore something. That's cool, but you do lose some fans because if I was here for sound A and now you're in sound B, I might not.
And it's also hard when you get to a group and you're like, oh, but I only like this one B-side that they did. They'll probably never do that again because it'll be like the next time they change their sound, it will be something different. And I think there's a time and place and groups for that. And I think like there are groups that do really well where they kind of shift in their sound. And I think that's like a really great thing. But I think Apink really figured out, especially with their voice types, that what they are doing is the best for them and the best for the group as a whole, because what you sing in your solos and how you sing in solos is different than you being in a group. I like that even if you don't personally like their songs, you can kind of really respect what they were doing with keeping up with that sound. Even with the type of concept that they do, both males and female audiences can relate to what they're singing and relate to their songs and stuff. So they've got this really great kind of flow into everyone, even if they are kind of more like in this pink bubble pop.
With their innocent concepts, like when you watch the videos and stuff, especially the older stuff that's very cream and pink and, you know, soft, it feels young, but it never feels young in that weird way where like we're in school uniforms for the older man audience. Like it always feels like it's focused at teens or like that it's focused towards the female gaze, towards the
if they're like talking about
hang
boy,
out
it's
with
still
us
like a
and do
teen
stuff.
boy who's with them, or like, you know, hanging out with their friends. And you can really see how young some of those girls are, because Natalia said their ages, that some of them were like 14 when they started, you know, when they debuted. That's like really young. And you can tell if you watch their first MV, they all look like babies.
They look young.
They're still like fairly young, and the way that they kind of transitioned, it still fit. It flowed. It wasn't weird or pandering, even on that other end.
And also something that I kind of noticed in their younger music videos and stuff their makeup was very natural. And when I say that, like, I know that's always kind of the joke, natural makeup, haha, but no, like they really downplayed the makeup, which I thought was very good for that age group. And you honestly don't get to see that very much anymore, even for that age group, because often even that age now is, you know, a lot of makeup and stuff. You know, the first couple of music videos, it was they didn't have a lot of makeup. And I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, they didn't do much with their hair. It was kind of like just natural hair. It kind of has that like what everybody could attain type look. It looked like what everybody already had in their wardrobe.
It felt pretty accessible. Like eventually they kind of would have a different uniform that was very like, oh, this is a music group. But even then it wasn't outlandish. So I imagine for the fans, you know, you could picture yourself maybe talking with them or something. Like it makes you feel on the same plane as them rather than you are unattainable, like you're way.
Yeah, they weren't attainable in they were the cool girls that you could never befriend. They seemed like they were kind of down to earth, sweet people that you would be friends with.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they push that like in their video concepts too, like that idea of girlfriends, right? We're girlfriends. It'll be romantic and it's like, oh, like it's cute. Naeun's getting like love letters. Oh, we're all so happy for her. And we're all, you know, like it just has that very like girlfriends hanging out. Feel like singing. I could see if I found them when I was a teenager, feeling like I could see myself in there. I could insert myself into that friend group.
I touched on some of their accomplishments, but I know Natalia has probably hefty list.
I'm sorry, I'm dealing with an angry dog. So, as a group that has a huge popularity and almost unfathomable amount of discography, one would imagine that they have won a few awards in their time, and that is accurate. I'm not even going to mention the ones that they were nominated for and didn't win, because we'd be here forever. So I'm just going to go the ones that they have won. So they started in 2014, soon after they debuted. They won the Seoul Music Awards Bongsang, however you want to pronounce it, for No No No. And they won the Melon Music Awards Best Choreography for Mr. Chu late in the year. Then in 2015, they won Song of the Year at the Gaon Chart Music Awards with Love. At the Golden Disc Awards, they won both the Disc Bongsang for their album Pink Blossom and the Best Female Performance as a group. Also in 2015 was a big year for winning awards for Apink. At the Japan Golden Disc Awards, they won the Best Asian Artist. At the Korean Culture Entertainment Awards, they won the Best K-pop Singer Group. Sometimes these get like real specific with their like award types. At the Korean Entertainment Art Awards, they won Best Female Group, and at the Melon Music Awards, they won the Top 10 Artist, as well as the Top 10 Artists at the SBS Award Festival. At the Seoul Embassy's Day Awards, they won the Handbit Awards, but they shared that with Vix and Rainbow, who also won that year. It was a triad of winning that year. And finally, at the Seoul Music Awards, they won the Bongsang Award for Mr. Chu. Mr. Chu got 2 awards through...
Mr. Chu ruled that year.
Yeah,
for sure. Even across like dramas and stuff. It was
like everyone, the background music of everything people were doing, knew. Like the little hand movements, or like at least going, Mr. Chu, Chu.
And in 2016, at the Golden Disc Awards, they won the Bongsang again for Pink Memory. At the KK Box Music Awards, they won a special award. Very fun. And at the Seoul Music Awards, they won the Bongsang for their album Remember. In 2017, at the Asia Artist Awards, they won Best Celebrity. At the V-Live Awards in 2017, they won the Top 10 Global Artist. Good for them. And then in 2018, at the Fandom School Awards, they won Best Female Group. At the Korean Wave Awards, they won the Hallyu Singer Award. And at the Melon Music Awards, again, Top 10 Artist, Apink. That's just their awards. we probably won't have time to get into it, but in their solo work, other people have won award. It's wild. Okay. These girls don't stop.
And they work in lots of things. They have variety. They not only have appeared in everything, like a million episodes of Running Man. My very first Running Man episode I ever watched was because I watched Eunji in a drama, and then I went and looked her up and watched like Running Man episodes with her in it. They're everywhere. I was just watching them on Quiz with Weekly and everywhere all
They're
the time.
on like every fourth episode of Running Man.
Yeah, like
2019. Like,
yeah,
if it's
basically
if it's a variety show that has idols or actors, they have been on it. If you watch their recent episode on Jessie's show review, when she has to leave because she's going to do a different variety show. She's on like I Live Alone or something.
My Little Old Boy.
Yeah.
Which I then went, I was like, yeah, I'll watch that episode of My Little Old Boy.
Throw it on my watch list.
Yeah, they're everywhere. A lot of this stuff is on YouTube. Go there and check that stuff out. Now, they also have very specific Apink variety shows. Like it was mentioned before, they had the Apink News. There's 3 seasons of that, and it started pre-debut. And in fact, 2 of their members were announced during that. The first episode that I watched of Apink News was actually the first episode of, I think, season 3. And Bomi's sitting at the desk and she's like, "Ooh, I'm at the desk. I'm important. I'm official now." Like, she's very like, I've never seen it from this side of the desk kind of thing. And then she's like, okay, like, take it down a notch. We're professional newscasters here. And then, it goes into nonsense. Like, it's a very cute sort of show of like behind the scenes stuff and costumes that they're doing for comeback. Some of it is things like the diet challenge and the fitness challenge, and they're three of the members need to lose weight, but we're going to make them compete. You're just like, these are beautiful girls with lovely figures. Let's just
let them
but I
exist.
did, it was amusing to watch. Like, Son Naeun is like super, super, super flexible, like crazy flexible. They had to do that test where you stand on a step and like fold in half to like touch your toes. And she went past her toes, past the first step. It was like 2 of those stacked steps for like step class. She went past the first one and the girls are like, "Oh my gosh." And then she went further and touched the floor. And her big long black hair is hanging down. They're like, it's like the Ring. We're watching a horror movie. So that was 2011 to 2012. There were 3 seasons of Apink News. Then there is, in 2014, they did Oven Radio on 1 the K. So that's all on YouTube. And then they also did Apink Showtime. Surprisingly, for everything else they were doing in 2015, there was no Apink variety show in 2015.
They were too busy winning all those awards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like going on tours and stuff. Yeah, they're very busy.
Most of these obviously connect with, there's a comeback coming or something, and you get to see some stuff that they're doing, prepping for that, right? 2016 was Apink's Extreme Adventure, where they all got different places and challenges that they had to go. And so they all took off to different locations and bungee jumping and the highest roller coaster in the world and stuff like that. And then 2017, Put Your Hands Up, which is a typical variety show, had to do with a comeback. It was all on V Live. All appears to still be there, watchable. This was my favorite one. 2018, they collaborated with a game called Racing Star, which is a racing mobile game. And they did a show called Apink's Racing Star, where they did a bunch of car racing, like competitions and stuff. It has a very like Mario Kart kind of vibe to it all. Like, it's so silly and so ridiculous. And you really see how competitive these girls are, because that one starts out, it's 2 a.m. and they're coming home finally after a full day of activities. And then they get kidnapped and taken off to be on. And I'm thinking, if at 2 a.m. you took me to a snowy field and then you told me, if you have this black card, then you're out, you go home, I would have been like, give me the black card so I can go home. But these girls are so competitive. They're like, no, I'm going to win this. So that was 2018. 2020, they did another show with 1TheK called Idol Tour. It's nice. A lot of this stuff is on YouTube. You can just go watch it on YouTube, which is great. If you're really super into the girls, you can go check them out that way. And because some of it's very tied to comebacks that are upcoming from 10 years ago, it's cute, it's fun. You get to see some more of their personalities and stuff. Like, I enjoyed watching them on other variety shows as well. All those individual personalities coming
They're
out.
super entertaining.
They really are.
Even if it's just a couple of them or
They're
if it's
a
a
delight.
full group.
Yeah.
They're just always funny.
They are very big energy, but they all have very distinctive personalities.
Mhm.
So it's crazy watching them because they're so big and energetic, but it's also varied in ways that you just don't expect, especially, you know, if you're just like coming from just listening to their songs or watching their videos and you're like, that's not them at all.
I was watching an episode of Weekly Idol that had them on it, where each of them had to pretend to be a different member of the group. Oh, it was savage. And then they had to perform Mr. Chu, but as
each other.
The person they were impersonating. What a mess. It was a mess.
Oh, yeah, there's like, you see that when they get like asked questions about like those like quiz questions, like who's the member most likely to, and they all, and you can just see like everybody, one of them will just hang their head or something and everybody looks at them and they're like, yep, it's her, and she's like, it's me. And they seem to get along with other people really well as well, like other members of other groups. That quiz episode that I watched, it was two of them, I think it was Namju and Unji were on the team with two members of Weekly, and those girls just like sucked into their aura and was like, yep, you're with us now, you're part of our crew. And you'd think if I was a 17-year-old new debut with Apink like that, I would be shy around them or like in awe, and they just clearly put them so at ease and were so comfortable.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I thought was interesting when I was kind of searching just for random like fan videos online was how many videos they had of other K-pop idols like reacting to them or doing their songs. And it seems like most of the idols in K-pop through the various generations absolutely love Apink. Top favorites. They sing along every single time.
I know what? A lot of your idols are friends, so you don't you don't need to have fan wars because they like each other.
Even just listening to some of the hosts talking and they're like, oh yeah, Apink, you guys are back again, you know, it's like old friends.
And I think that's an like attributes to them being the generation that they are. They're like technically second gen, and that generation of K-pop especially were so big on collab shows. Like when you watch episodes of the Running Man that they're on, not all the group is on. It's just like sometimes the full group is on, sometimes it's just various. One of my favorite Running Man episodes, and it literally has Naeun and Unji from Apink, and then it has like girls from Girls' Generation. It has Infinite. It has M Black members, and you know, one of them being Sweet Baby You Do, Chansung and Uyang, and like just a slew. Sistar is on it, just a slew of people. I mean, you have like 20 major K-pop idols, and it's just like that's what they're used to doing because they do all those like Star Bell shows and that sort of thing. That's what they're used to doing as part of their publicity.
It was also fun to watch on Knowing Bros or Ask Us Anything, since the members had done so much work on all these other shows. So they had already done all this work in the past. Yes, as a group with the host guys, but also like individually they had done all these things. So it's like, yeah, I know him from, we just worked last year on such and such. Though they were polite, they of course would like give them grief. Like the girls would give the hosts grief. And that's always just really fun to watch when people know each other over the years and stuff, and they have an ongoing relationship and they can kind of, you know, tease each other rather than just the host teasing the idol group. Like the idol group can just dish it right back. And it's nice even having the female idol, like Not that female idols can't do that.
Mhm.
It was a nice balance. Like, it was all fun.
So they also act, which I don't think I knew that all of them did. And then when I started looking, I was like, oh, I've seen that. Yep. Okay. I've seen them in that too. I knew Eunji. She was probably one of my first dramas in Sassy Go-Go. She was just in Work Later, Drink Now. And there's a second season of that coming out, scheduled to come out. She was in Untouchable, Trot Lovers, Reply 1997. I think she was also in 94 as like a cameo, maybe. She was in That Winter the Wind Blows. She was in the movie 0.0 megahertz, which is apparently kind of a horror deal, I guess.
It's a horror.
Like,
yes.
yeah, I will not be watching it, but I have watched many of her dramas, so she's a delight. And then Naeun, I'm watching currently in Ghost Doctor, which I didn't think I had really watched her in other stuff, but she was in Lost. She was in Dinner Mate, Cinderella in the Four Night, 20 Again, Glorious Day. She was a main character, or this is variety as well, but she was on a show called Gamsung Camping, which was a bunch of female comedians, actresses, idols who went camping. She was also in the movie The Wrath and Marrying the Mafia V or 5. I'm not really sure what the V was for. Cho Rong. She was in Romance Special Law, Plus 9 Boys, All My Love, which was a daily. And she was in the movie Road Family. She also was a guest role on A Poem a Day, which is where I've seen her. Bomi was in Please Don't Date Him, Phantom Secret Agent, both Farming Academy seasons, Because This Is My First Life, and Love Detective Sherlock K. Hayoung, Starting Point of Dating, Love in Time and Love in Memory, which I haven't watched, but I think are connected because she has the same character name in both of them. And Please Find Her, where she plays herself.
I always love when people play themselves.
Yeah.
A
So,
little
It's always
appearance.
fun.
and then Namju has like the fewest acting credits, but I have watched all of them. So she's been in 2 different web series that have 2 seasons each, where this is no shade on her at all. Not to say she's not a good actress. Just having watched her in a lot of variety as well, kind of comes across a little bit like her in these situations. They're fun. They're really silly and fun kind of shows. First one I saw her in was Discography, and it's actually one of my very first K-dramas because it used to be on Netflix. I think it's sponsored by like the Korean Food Health and Safety Board or something, because it's like she's a detective who works for the Food Health and Safety whatever. Like every episode has a different big speech about washing your hands properly or proper food prep or how you can't keep those egg salad sandwiches out in the sun on your picnic because people will get sick. So it's clearly intended for educational purposes. And then she's also in Devil Inspector, which I loved the first season. The second season is a little darker, but very, very funny show where she plays a police officer. And I did not list off all of the things that they in as cameos or single appearance or where they appear as themselves. Even if you're here and you're not really a K-pop person, but just stuck it out, like, trust us, you know these girls, you know their faces, you've seen them in stuff. Probably of all that stuff that I listed, you've probably watched at least one, if not more. There was not enough time to watch all of their shows and all of their variety shows and all of their music videos and everything.
That would be a
Unless
couple
we had
years.
planned this
Yeah.
like a year ago. Hey guys, let's do Apink in a year.
I
Okay.
mean,
Did it
technically, one of the
stretch it
members
out?
is in one of my favorite dramas of all time. So there you go.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So speaking of like solo work, we'll start with Hayoung. She has a solo album that came out in 2019 called Oh! Exclamation point. And that's really awesome for her. That's her foray into the solo music. Next, we've got Bomi. She has her own YouTube channel that's pretty popular. That's just her being
Foamy.
her. But she also has an extensive list of things that she has done. She has been a featured artist with MIB, with Yoon Hyun Sang, with Mighty Mouse, with David O. She was on the Summer 11 project for Our Night is More Beautiful Than Your Day. She was in the single Vaccine with Woo Tae Woo and I Won. So I think that's pretty cool. And she also has done some soundtracks, you know, so she did an OST for Some Guys, Some Girls, and Cinderella and the Four Knights, the song Without You we talked about before, and also for the School 2017 OST with Kim Namjoo of all people. She did I Pray For You on that. I'm gonna end with Eunji because like there's the most.
Yeah, we get it.
Busy.
Namjoo has also had a single album called Bird, which was 2020, which had the song with Eunji and Jang Hyun Sung. She did a song called A Year Ago, as well as Photograph with Yoo Sung Jae. She is featured on Damiano song. I really like his stuff, Sweet Now. And of course, she got some OSTs. That's right. She had an OST for Tom Little and the Magic Mirror, for Merry Summer, for School 2017, which was with Bomi, for Deep, and for I Want to Hear Your Song. Finally, we get to she girl don't stop. She's been in everything. Not only that, she has won individual awards. Like she has her own individual award situations where she won Best Kiss for Reply 97 in the TVN 10 Awards. She won the Popularity Actress Award for Trot Lovers in 2014. I love that show personally. In the 2013 SBS Drama Awards, she won the New Star Award for The Winter the Wind Blows. Also in 2013, she won Best New Actress in the Baeksang Arts Awards for Reply 97. Now we're getting into the EP. She got a lot going on. 2016, she had the EP Dream. In 2017, she had the EP The Space. In 2018, she had Hihwa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. And then in 2020, she had Simple. Now, she got singles in addition to those EPs. Girl, don't stop. Okay? So she did one in 2016 called Hopefully Sky featuring Hareem, and 2017 The Spring also featuring Hareem. Been There, Away in 2018, 2020. She had some collabs, Love Day with Yang Yo Sub, A Year Ago with Namjoo and Jang Hyun Sun, as I said, and with Seo In-guk, our old friend, Seo In-guk from Reply 97 for the OST. She did a duet with him, All For You.
If you have not heard anything that she's done, listen to her with Seo In-guk. Their voices match. It's incredible. They're so good together.
So she did 2 songs with him for the 97 OST. So she did All For You and Just the Way We Love. They also were acting partners. It was nice. She also did a song for the Barefoot Friends OST, for the 3 Days OST, for Entertainer OST, for the Strong Girl Bong Soon OST, for the Suits OST, for the Sound of Music, Birth of Music OST, for the She's My Type OST, for the Startup OST, for the Romance 101 OST, and of course, for the Work Later, Drink Now OST, because she was also in the show. So she is booked and busy, and keep it on. What other interesting information do we need to know about this group, Sky?
Well, we already talked about, like, personality-wise, they're really fun. We already kind of went over that. But they're also very kind-hearted. They do a heck ton of charity work on an individual level and a group level. It's kind of hard to find a lot of it, because a lot of it's, of course, in Korean with the details of a lot of these things. But in general, quite often for their birthdays on an individual level, they will go do an event with their fans, but it will usually be volunteer work.
I like when they do that.
There'll usually be a variety of things. And some of the members, you know, they will donate money for their birthday for specific organizations. It's typically, you know, kids with disabilities, you know, impoverished families, things like that. There was one time when one of the members also went with one of the members of Block B to do something, but it was also very much like a photo shoot too. So sometimes you can tell it's a thing that just they get told to do. Like even Chorong, she went and volunteered in Bangladesh as a part of a program, and the people that were involved with her with that said that she worked really hard. Like she wasn't above like doing all the hard work to do all the volunteering that she did to do. They're known for how nice they are to all of the broadcast staff. Pretty much all of the music show staff love them just because they have these long careers, and each time they're just very kind to everyone around them. I think it was their first concert where I've never heard of anyone doing this. After the concert, so after they did all that hard work, they went and for each of the cleaning staff, they went individually and bowed to them and thanked them individually.
Oh, wow.
I've definitely seen, you know, a lot of the groups I follow, they're very kind, you know, they acknowledge people, but like going individually to say thank you to all of the cleaning staff and stuff, that's pretty amazing. Nan, so during the coronavirus situation, she donated 50 million won to a community chest to help those that were affected. Even during the shooting of Real Men, the show where the idols, they go and they like do army stuff, Lee Da-hee was in that with Bomi, and so Bomi would encourage Lee Da-hee a lot during that time, and so that was a noted thing that happened. So I'm gonna tell a story that like I pretty much cried at when I first read it, so bear with me a little bit. It's not going to be super long. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to try to explain it. Essentially, the person that shared this story, their younger sibling, and we don't know if the sibling was a boy or a girl because of the way they refer to younger siblings in Korean. But the poster, the original poster, their sibling was a very sick kid, and so didn't get to go to school a lot, but when they did, they were bullied and just didn't have any friends and stuff. But Bomi really took that person under her wing and like would eat lunch with them and would walk them home and like teach them dances and make sure to make them laugh even though they were having a really rough time and stuff. Just made a huge difference in this kid's life at school. Eventually that kid passed, and so the person that shared that story really wanted Bomi to know how much of a difference that made for that kid's life and even for their family and stuff. I just thought that was super sweet.
That's really sweet.
That tells you about that person, because you know it's not like, oh, they're being an idol and they're doing XYZ, and this was even pre-debut too, I think, but it's when they knew that she was going to be an idol and stuff. But another thing is, so I actually got to know about Apink because I was looking into Victon a couple years ago, because Apink is their seniors. I've watched the interactions on some of the Victon's variety shows, and so Chorong would talk about like how she's pretty shy, so she wouldn't talk to Victon a lot like early on, but she would tell the managers, Victon's managers, to like take care of them and stuff. So it was behind the scenes, she was very supportive of them, but since she has a more shy personality, she wouldn't like chat him up a lot or anything. She kind of was like a mom figure to Victon a lot later on. As far as two of the Victon members, they went and they did a audition show with the, can't think of it, 101, Produce 101 and stuff. And so one of them left early and was having kind of a rough time. And so he sought out Chorong for like advice, and it made a really big difference for him to have somebody to talk to and stuff. So just all around,
nice girls. They
really
and all around, like the whole group of Apink really praises Chorong for being a very, very good leader and how she's really the one that has kept the group together. Like they say, like Apink would not be around anymore if it wasn't for her. Like they re-signed at some point with their company, and she was pretty much the one that encouraged, trust me, like we can do this together still. She kind of gave them confidence to continue. But across the board, like they always talk about how awesome Chorong is. So that's pretty much it. I mean, they do a lot of shared work. Side note, there was like a scandal, you know, the era of the school bullying scandals amongst all the idols, and how some of them were not a thing and some of them were. So Chorong was, there was alleged school violence and stuff, but essentially someone accused her of school violence and also shared pictures of when she was a minor and she was drinking. Chorong apologized for the drinking, because that did happen, but the other stuff she insisted like she did not do. And even though they tried to talk through with the person that accused them, like it was a thing. So the company backed her up on that and continued to like pretty much countersue, you know, sue and countersue and all those things.
It's like, oh no, a teenager underage drank.
Yeah, like
Oh no,
like however many years later, she was like having to apologize profusely for that. I think what's really sad is when they have to apologize for something they did not do, but saying things like, I'm sorry that I let down my fans and I worried you and all those things. It's just unfortunate that they have to go through all of that.
I can imagine that must have been really stressful for Chorong as well, like just as the leader to worry that this thing that you didn't even do might affect
the group,
your members and your group as a whole and everything, because we've seen it, some of these scandals really do affect some of the groups and they disappear for a year or more or never come back.
And I also want to say contextually, it was during that period of time when like all of those
like everybody was accusing
bullying
everybody.
scandals.
Yeah.
The
it's like,
bullies
it's not possible
accusing
that
idols.
every single celebrity in Korea was a school bully. That just means everyone, like
It's
percentage wise.
Also not possible that only good people say that other people have done bad things. Like it's not possible, especially when you have like a group who's like super popular and like, people are jealous and a bully themselves. They just didn't get to reach the popularity, so this is the only thing that they can do.
When that all happened, like it was very clear. Some of those stories came out and you were like, that wasn't bullying. The two of you had beef. Like,
it was
there's
very
a difference, right?
Like it was also very clear, like a bunch of people were in the same message board too. They were like, oh, the gossip corner message board, and they all were like, we should do this, and we all like were at that school, so we have like at least a little bit of like backing, air quotes, but
where it's like every once in a while there'll be one that it's like, they stole my pencil in the 3rd grade. I'm like, oh no. Third grade.
Also, the worst part about it is there are like legitimately people
awful bullying stuff
who actually did awful stuff, and what this does, it just covers that up. And nobody gets justice for it, because there are some that actually do really terrible things, whether they're idol or not, and it hurts that it hurts the survivors or even the non-survivors of these school bullyings, because people are just like making stuff up, which then nobody believes anything and they can't have a voice, and ridiculous.
Exactly.
Another thing I did find was so Law of the Jungle, the members have been on Law of the Jungle a lot, and he said, like, no particular reason, I've just always been a really big fan of Apink, so since he's had so much experience with them and stuff, he's like, out of all the idols, Apink is the group that is the most hardworking and have never forgotten their like rookie, they're very humble with how they handle people, and they're just great
they're
teamwork
still
and
Jenny
stuff
from
like
the
that.
block, as it were.
But I always just think it's a testament when it's people you work with, be it senior people or people below you, or even the cleanings, like if across the board everyone respects how you treat them, like that's a really good sign.
Does anyone have a favorite song? A little recommendation of a favorite song before we end this deep dive?
So I will say, like, I was watching music shows at the time when their comeback happened. And I really were we both watching it at that time, Jessie? Were you?
It was, if not, it was close by, like, or at least like watching after the fact. So then, by default, I was watching some of the stages, but I got into it.
It was really fun to watch those performances. So like, I've always really, really liked that song. Also, I remember seeing the Namjoon's bird performances as well. The I'm a Bird.
We were definitely there for that.
Because
that was
we were
our
like
mornings. Because that was also, who else was like, there was a couple of people. One of the girls from 4 Minute was doing stuff, and then one of the ex-members of EXID who went on to Bestie, she was also doing her solo thing. So we were there for that.
So, we had fun watching those.
Yes.
So those are like my two, like, because I even have memories tied to those things.
I really like the song I'm So Sick.
Yes.
It's also my favorite music video there. I just like the vibe of it.
I don't love the rest of the song, but I'm really partial to the opening of I'm Not an Angel. It has very like Hanson bop like vibes. Like it's very do 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 do. And every time it starts up, I'm like, oh, here we go. It's just fun. But I think probably for me, I like the album Pink Revolution the most. And off of that, I really enjoy speaking of which, my phone just turned it up. Boom Pow Love, I really like. I also really like Drummer Boy off of that one. So those are sort of my big ones. But mostly I like Bird by Namjoon. I like their solo stuff generally a bit more. I like Hayoung. I like her stuff, like her solo stuff too. So
for the group stuff, we talked about a lot of the stuff that I like. No 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 is maybe not a song that I like love, but I always attribute it to Apink. But I kind of was surprised because I will say like the type of music they produce is not really my favorite. But I did listen to their first song, I Don't Know, and really like it. And I think they do amazing work within their genre. And I think they are really revolutionary in like staying with that, and they do it well. I just really liked I Don't Know. I also absolutely love Eunji's voice. So anything she does to sing, like literally, honestly, every single time she just sings in a song is my favorite part. Not to say that the other girls don't do amazing as well, but I just love her voice so much. It makes me happy listening to it because she's so good at she's
incredible.
She does everything perfect, and she doesn't actually hurt her voice too. Then also just on a technical note, it makes me so happy.
You can see why
her.
she only trained for 2 months before doing
there's a Jennifer Hudson song right before she got into the company or something, and you can see it. I think it probably was on that Apink News. I don't know. I just found it randomly, and she's at the level then that she is now. And one of the big things, like when you're saying that she was like known as a smiling person, that's also attributed to her vocal training, because she actually knows what to do to raise her soft palate to give her the belt that doesn't hurt her. And when you smile, you naturally do that. And that's part of the reason why she smiles. But she's super clear and super supported. And I love when you know that they're not hurting their voice as much as they could be.
If you like both her voice and you like trot music, you gotta watch Trot Lovers, man.
There you go.
Gotta watch Trot Lovers. It's also called Lovers of Music, but when I watched it,
I think most people know it as Trot Lovers.
But they like changed. I think on Cocoa it's Lovers of Music or something.
Cocoa.
But anyway, she plays a trot singer. Ooh, chef's kiss.
An episode of Running Man that I watched with them, like before they revealed that Apink was there, they had artists behind these doors and they were just singing. So Eunji, she sang like this very good, it just sounded like old Korean song type singing, like to where they thought she was like a 50-year-old like professional like singer of many decades. And so they made all these plans because they were trying to figure out like who to team up with that person and stuff. And so then when it was like, it's Apink, they're like, whoa, we thought like you were old and like you sounded so good. Like, and it was Eunji. Like, I think she was trying to sound like that main trot lady, the
I know what you're talking,
And they're like, oh yeah, you sounded like her. She's like, yes, I didn't know what I heard.
I really like the video for My, the one that starts out like pink summer and they're camping and having a barbecue and then all of a sudden it turns into a horror film. And you're like, what is going on, Apink?
There's like a one part where she's like squeezing the ketchup bottle around so there's ketchup everywhere. So good.
Silly, but like it's dark, but it's really not. But then it's like, it's just funny and it's so them, like it's so their personalities and it's just fun to watch.
Does anyone have like a favorite member that stands out to them, like their personality or like the fun things that they do?
Bomi, I love Bomi.
Bomi's personality, she's so great. We kind of talked about this before we started recording, but we have a theory that like Bomi and Eunji, they have some of their like roles. That's just their personality.
It's just
like
them.
Bomi and because this is my first life, I think that's just her. She didn't act. She just learned lines.
And I mean, I said that about Detective Alice and Devil Inspector Namju, kind of like that's kind of her personality. Like she's a bit of a goofball when you see her in some things, like not meant in a bad way at all. She just clearly has fun doing stuff.
I like that Be Live that Bomi did, where she was trying to do Itzy's dance. Have you seen it? She's like doing, I don't remember which song from Itzy she was doing, but it was like one they were moving a lot, and like her shoulder kept on cracking, and
probably
she'd be like,
the one that was like,
I'm too old for this. And she like try, and she's like obviously just sitting in the like middle of the living room trying to do it, and she's like, oh, that's a good choreo, but I'm too old for this. And the show just like bye.
I bet it was that wannabe song, because that was like the main thing. That's hilarious. I love how Bomi, so the Taekwondo thing, like, so Bomi's a Taekwondo like third level black belt something, and how like on Running Man and stuff they'll be like, no, you can kick me, and she like keeps taking them out.
Take people out.
She took Jisoo Jin out of the game. Like he was like, oh yeah, like you're small as stuff, and this he went down like a bag of bricks.
Well, what was funny, another episode was like she had clearly had to diet for so she was smaller, and so they were like, oh, so this time like if you kick me, like it won't hurt as bad, right? No. Doesn't work like that, buddy.
I was very amused watching her on the one show, and it was like she would like time out or not have time to answer, or she would answer wrong, and they'd be like, no, like that was wrong, you're out. And she just wait, like she just why? Like always. It was like, and so you're out. Why? And they're like, you didn't do the thing. And she's like, why? Don't I get another turn? And they're like, no. And she's like, why?
It was also, I don't remember which of the variety things, but like I just saw a clip of it, like it was like the end of the thing, and she was just like, visit my YouTube channel, and she's just like not caring at all that she's not supposed to be doing. She's like, just my YouTube channel is this, I'll subscribe, like and subscribe. Like supposed to be doing a variety show.
She's really so animated with her face.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't care about like if she's looking silly or something. But Eunji's really fun too. Like she's very witty with how she handles people. Like on the variety shows, even with like all the senior entertainers and stuff, the way she fires right back. But like it's never mean or anything. But she handles them very, very well. Especially when she gets into the like dialect stuff with the main guy on Knowing Bros. It's really funny.
Yeah, like I think coming into this, I would have like definitely said Eunji's my favorite because I know her from dramas. I know I've seen her in so much stuff, but then watching it more, it's like I still love her. She's still probably my favorite, but I feel like I know the rest of the girls so much more, and I enjoyed like Namju and like just even Naeun, like seeing she sometimes comes across like a little bit more like we sort of said like pretty, like a pretty face aloof. And but she's sneaky and she's like got a little sarcastic bite to her and stuff. And you're like, ooh, I did not see that coming. I like it.
See
I like it a lot.
in the fandom, her like thing is just let her go home already because she will just like after a certain point she's like, I've checked out of having to be social and I just want to go home. Yeah, like just let me. And it's just like her being like, okay, I'm tired of it. And then everyone's like, just let her go home. Just let her.
That's funny.
Well, anyway, this has been our deep dive into the long-running girl group Apink. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that you go and check out some of their stuff because they've got a lot of stuff.
Really do.
If you want links to some of that stuff, you got to find it on our website at certifiednoonas.com, where all of the episodes have links to everything we talk about. And also you can listen to the episodes and also get time codes for everything that we talk about on every single episode. If you want to reach out to us on social media, we are on all social media. It's always at Certified Noonas, but we're easiest to reach on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to become a member of our incredible community, we have 2 ways. One, the free way. You can go join our Discord. We have a Discord server. We have lots of conversations about all sorts of stuff happening in the Asian entertainment world, and it is super fun. But if you want to throw a couple bucks our way to keep this podcast going, you can go to patreon.com/certified Noonas to become part of the official Certified Found family. They're our family on the web. We love them. They support us, and we support them back with sick content that we give them. Anyway, we hope that you have a fantastic week. You stay safe, you wear a mask, you wash your hands, listen to some Apink, and enjoy some Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.